So the CBC is broadcasting a documentary on Donald Trump. So it's the Canadian state broadcaster that's taking your tax dollars, more than $1 billion a year, to buy a film made by a British filmmaker about an American politician. Does any of that make sense? I mean, is there a lack of Donald Trump content on your TV right now? Is there a special Canadian angle here maybe? No, there is not. It's not even that the CBC is desperately trying to seem relevant or interesting or capture some of that ratings bonanza that anything about Trump brings. It's that the CBC wants to attack Trump ideologically. Here, take a look at their website. The Mad World of Donald Trump. Right there. He's mad. He's crazy. Hillary Clinton, whose sole credential is that she married Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton, who is under investigation by the FBI for illegally storing top secret classified material on a homemade email server that she set up to escape legal scrutiny. That's not a mad world. Bernie Sanders, the kooky socialist senator, his own words, who actually honeymooned in the Soviet Union during the Cold War, that's not a mad world. But Trump is, because he's a conservative. CBC hates conservatives, even in other countries. Here, let me just quote from the promo blurb on the CBC website. Discover the man behind the brand, from the multiple divorces, the bankruptcies, the public insults aimed at women who crossed him, to claims of bullying Scottish residents who stood in the way of his golf resort. It's the all-consuming story of a privileged multi-billionaire tycoon who has now decided to use his considerable resource to become the most powerful person on the planet. All right, I got it. So the CBC is going to give us a tabloid expose about Trump's divorces. Hey, how about a CBC documentary about Bill Clinton's multiple victims of sexual harassment and even rape accusations? Public insults aimed at women, eh? How about physically attacking women like Bill Clinton did again and again and again? I like that last part in the CBC blurb, the privileged multi-billionaire tycoon. It's true about Trump. It's also true that Hillary Clinton is a privileged multi-millionaire tycoon. She and Bill earned $150 million from donors for giving speeches. Yeah, right. Millions of dollars for speeches to Wall Street banks like Goldman Sachs, where attendees said she sounded like a managing director of the bank. She was so giddy in love. Look, she wasn't being paid for her speeches. She was being paid for access and influence, just like foreign Arab dictatorships who donated millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, run by Hillary and Bill. But to the CBC, that's not interesting, let alone worthy of criticism. But Donald Trump's money, that's the dirty money. Look, this might actually be an interesting documentary, I don't know, but I think I'm bored of it already, and I haven't even seen it. I think it's going to show Americans as stump-toothed, gun-clinging, Bible-thumping, racist hicks. The British snob who's doing the movie, that's just the perfect touch, just to rub in how low-class Trump and his supporters really are. I don't need to see this movie. I can hear dripping anti-American snobbery any night of the week just by watching the CBC News. I'd call this a disgrace, but it's just normal at the CBC. They were a de facto campaign team for Justin Trudeau in the last federal election, doing hit jobs every night on Stephen Harper. Why wouldn't they do that on Trump? Not that anyone in America cares about the CBC or even knows what it is, but the CBC helped pay for this movie, which will be shown elsewhere, so you subsidized it. One last point. Look at this law called the Canadian Broadcasting Act. It's the law that creates the CBC. I'd like to read to you from what this law says the CBC is for, the official justification for wringing $1 billion a year out of Canadian families to subsidize this crap. Here, let me quote. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, as the national public broadcaster, should provide radio and TV services incorporating a wide range of programming that informs, enlightens, and entertains. Okay, now here's the important part. The programming provided by the corporation should, number one, be predominantly and distinctively Canadian. Number two, reflect Canada and its regions to national and regional audiences while serving the special needs of those regions. Three, actively contribute to the flow and exchange of cultural expression. Four, contribute to shared national consciousness and identity. I'm not going to go on, but you get the drift. The CBC gets the $1 billion a year in order to be Canadian, filling in the gaps left by the other broadcasters. Their job is to be a Canadian broadcaster. I say again, why is the CBC paying a British snob to attack an American Republican candidate? Well, Because to the CBC, that is our Canadian culture. And your place is to shut up and pay for it. For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.